and welcome everyone to today's Oneness session. My name is Nikki. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, I would like to take a minute to give you an introduction about this series of sessions. Few of us at One Point Consulting have been meditating over years and have found the benefits of meditation, not only in our personal lives, but also in workplace. So during the pandemic, in 2020, we thought of sharing these benefits with the world. What we have come up is with a series of sessions which are held fortnightly, and we invite meditators from all over the world to share their thoughts on a particular topic and also lead us into guided meditation. So we are very happy to welcome David Jones from Australia today. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Nikki.
So David is a highly acclaimed drummer and a percussionist. He's been playing since 1969. And I think we are having an artist from the music industry as a speaker for the very first time. He is the recipient of the Melbourne Prize for Music. David is Honorary Senior Fellow at Melbourne Conservatorium for 7 years. He has played and recorded with many artists from all over the world. He's considered as the master drummer of the world. He leads his own projects and he has 2 special pieces written with orchestras in Japan and Melbourne. Regarding David's journey on the spiritual path, he started way back in 1984. And he feels that meditation is the foundation of life, and music is the powerful vehicle for the giving and receiving of energy. He has great enthusiasm to share spirituality and meditation practices with those interested in meditation and self-transformation. The topic that David has chosen for today is a very special and interesting one, and I'm sure we all will enjoy it. It's the power of sound and silence. So over to you, David.
Thank you for the lovely introduction, Nikki, and lovely to meet you. And a lovely honour to be part of this One Point Oneness. What a great title you've given this. The topic is very close to my heart, and the topic is covering the powers of sound and silence. Sound we all know about. We are surrounded by sound in our life continuously. There are nature sounds, the elements, wind, thunder, fire, bird calls, all the sounds of the environment around us. And of course, these days we have the mixture of mechanical sounds, and they are sometimes a little disturbing, which are cars, machines, traffic, aeroplanes, trains, all manner of devices that we use can produce sound, and not all of it is very pleasant. Although most of the pleasant sounds will come from nature, but also from music. And music for me has been a long journey, a very, very long journey. Started as a youngster playing pots and pans. I think most of us do play with sounds when we're growing up and exploring sounds and sights and touch, all the senses. For me, it became a little bit more interesting, and I was into art at first. I was drawing a lot, and that became rhythms. The patterns of drawing became rhythm for me, and I was so intrigued about all the different sounds that could come from even kitchen utensils or things around the house. And so that became very obvious to my parents that I was quite into it. I was quite serious about it. So I got my first little drum and then I think it was just 2 little drums, you know, little bongos. And I'd try and get as many sounds as possible just from those little tiny, like tiny drums. And eventually it became drum kit. And from a young age, I was very, very fortunate. Looking back, it wouldn't happen in this age, but when I was starting out, I was playing in many different situations with people 3 and 4 times my age. So I had a lot of experience very early. And I was always intrigued with sounds, but also the feeling behind the sounds, the intention. Became very, very interesting to me, that as to why that piece of music really would affect me and another piece would not be so attractive. And of course, that's all very personal, very subjective. And so I was very fortunate, as I was saying, had a very full career up to age 24, 25. I'd pretty much achieved everything that I could in Australia, where I was born in Melbourne, Australia. And the whole thing became a little bit empty. And I'm really sure, looking back, it's because my music making at that point, up to that point, was very successful, very skilled, you know, because I'd practiced a lot. And I was born with a natural gift somehow. Somehow that happened. And developed it. But what happened was that I realized that the foundation of my music making was not based in spirituality. And so over a few years, it became a desperate, I'll use the word desperate, search for something. I wasn't even sure what it was. I was feeling the emptiness sound. There was a hollow feeling, empty feeling. Even though I could play incredibly complex things and wonderful things, within me there was something missing. And so one of my friends, Sam, who's also into the meditation that I'm into, he came to my house and he'd changed. Something had changed in him. And we'd been playing a lot together. And he just took me along to a meditation center that very night. And it became a very unorthodox course of meditation where I'd be asking questions, and everything that came back was so simple. And the main thing was when the person who was doing the course, basically the meditation course, turned the light down just slightly, put on a meditation tape. In 1984, this was. I had a very profound experience of light, of stillness, of power. And so it put me on the track of then making a lifestyle of this meditation path, spiritual path, which, as we know, for any spiritual path, there is philosophy as well. It needs to be grounded in understanding and knowledge and wisdom. And for me, it was exactly what I was looking for. And so my music making became very different. And what I mean by that was that straight away, I was wanting to investigate silence. And it sounds so strange being a drummer, playing with all my 4 limbs, to actually be desiring quiet and silence. But where it was coming from was a quest. It was a quest of how to bring the power of this stillness and silence into what I was doing. So very quickly, it all became, firstly, very subtle. You know, I wanted to play softer because drums can be very loud. And what I was finding, because of my meditation practice, there were 2 separate things. There was the action of the music itself, of performing, and then there was meditation, which was still, being physically still. And so what I was discovering was that, okay, there must be a way of integrating these 2 things so that I can be meditating as I play. And so it took a little while and some interesting experiences where I'd be meditating and had a particular aim in mind and still playing, but there'd be a momentary, like split second stop whilst I was playing, which is not a great thing to happen, because in a band or any group of people that are connected, when we're connected, if there's someone who is even a split second not in that connection, it breaks the chain. It breaks this loop of energy. And so I think because I was also getting up very early in the morning and it was a very new thing for me with late night playing, I think a lot of people may have had the opinion that David's lost it a little bit. He's not as accurate as he was before. He's doing this meditation thing. He's looking tired. He's not as focused, and sometimes he's off the mark a little. So looking back was quite amusing in a way now, because I really pay attention to balance, between sound and silence, but the integration of meditation, and to do what I'm doing fully. So I bring the energy of my meditation into the activity, but without it disturbing the matrix, if you like, or the energy of the connection with people and with the audience. So it was a great discovery, because eventually what was happening, the two separate things of the stillness and silence and of sound were merging. And so the deeper the meditation that I was having every day, then that would naturally infuse into my music making. And when we meditate deeply, we're not going to have a silent mind all the time. Definitely not the case, because we're human beings. The mind sometimes can be fast, and we all tend to overthink things, maybe second guess ourselves and others and situations. And so over a period of time, what can happen is that we, with meditation, start to realize that the simpler I think, the clearer I think, then everything will start to balance. And so for me, even with rest, I was starting to balance all of these things. That diet, yes, rest, activity, and to be the yogi. Yogi means, I've heard a great description of a yogi, and it's to do one thing at a time really well. So be fully focused, just do this. So when I meditate, it's just meditation. There'll be very creative thoughts that come out of that stillness and that silence, and that's a good thing. And yet I don't want to be too active. And so in the deepest meditation, there will be naturally inspiration, creativity, new thoughts. And even in the worldly sense, we know that for inventions, scientific, medical discoveries, stillness and silence and quiet is necessary to think deeply. And same with creativity. On any level, we need stillness. So I kept discovering layers to this. So with sound, we know that with music, for all of us, we use music to change our mood, to alter our mood, to enhance the mood we're in, or to completely change it. And so what I was starting to realize was that the intention behind the sound is the vibration that we don't hear necessarily. So there's sound vibration of the music, and there's also a deeper layer of the intention of the performer. Perhaps it's even more obvious with lyrics when there's a song with words. I play a lot of instrumental music and vocal music too, but I love instrumental music particularly and improvising because it can take me into the experience of a deeper sense of connection and purpose, or you could say an aim behind the music is to allow others to experience, hopefully, what I'm experiencing, which is to go beyond the mundane, beyond the ordinary, to even reach into spiritual states. And so we're all dealing with sound in so many different ways every day of our life. And if we want stillness and silence, we might go to the bush. Say in Australia, you might go in the middle of Australia to the bush or forest, anywhere in the world. Sometimes we have what I call relative silence, where we will not completely have silence in the physical realm. But what can happen is a stillness. And if you really perceive on a different, deeper level, there could be the experience of a hum, like Om. You know, the chant of Om, the sound of Om, is a very beautiful, and the Australian didgeridoo has this too. Om, very stable. It's called a drone, or a beautiful resonance. And that resonance feels like the eternal, the divine in sound form, if that makes sense. And so when we meditate, we're not going to be able to completely blank the mind, and actually we don't want that anyway. We don't want to use force. We want to redirect the mind to the experience that we want to have. And so the sense of silence in the mind is more about one theme, and it's beautiful. One point, you know, the title of this series of videos is so beautiful. A oneness, one point. So if I go into one aspect, a phrase, it could be billions of phrases, but let's start with the most basic and very powerful one. I am a peaceful soul. Now that phrase, you could chant, I am a peaceful soul, or repeat, repeat, repeat. That would give a certain experience, but if you were to go into that phrase and use every word as a portal, so that could become a half an hour meditation where the mind starts to slow down and become much more still. There'll be other thoughts coming and going, that's okay. We're human, that's going to happen. But we're mainly focused on that one theme, that one aim. So it becomes the music of the mind. Beautiful music, not the chaotic, you know, vibration that's fragmented, that's usually happening in the mind. But we go into one theme. It could be, I am a being of light, and to explore different aspects that are very spiritual, not as theory, but as practice, as experience. Then what starts to happen, we improvise. I am the peaceful soul. Now there'll be a relative silence in the mind. So the only time or the only experience we can have of true silence is beyond the physical, beyond the mind. And what I mean by that is we are not the thoughts, we're not the mind, we're using this physical body. So who is thinking? Who uses the mind? Who uses the body? I, the essence, the being. And when we go deeply into this in our meditation, which we'll do soon, then we can explore, I love the word explore, experiment, and experience the true self. And then, just with our consciousness, we can travel, we won't leave our body, but we travel with our consciousness to the realm of light, where we've come from, the home. And that's where true, deep, sweet silence is experienced, in that state. And then a connection with the divine, with the source of deep peace, eternal peace, deep love, spiritual love. And so this journey of sound and silence and the combination, I would say that silence then becomes the foundation of everything, of life. For a musician, it's the blank canvas, like an artist. Generally, they'd start with a white blank canvas, and in that canvas, there's all potential before they start. Any colour, set of colours, patterns, images. And so for a musician, the blank canvas is silence. It's a precious, beautiful silence. To start with silence and then come into the action. And this is a blueprint for life. Start with stillness, stable, balanced, then come into action, come into speech. From that beautiful one point. So let's do a meditation now. Go into the experience of silence, but first with active thought. And so if we can use the lovely image, thank you. As we see with this image, it's a representation of a point radiating very powerfully in all directions. We can use this as a visual focus. Generally, people do close their eyes to meditate, but I would suggest to experiment using a point like this. It could be a candle, although the candle can be not always stable if there's even a breeze that's going to move. What's being represented here is stable, constant, powerful point of energy. In our highest state, we are like this. The Supreme is like that constantly. So let's experience beautiful silence and a traveling of the mind, traveling of the consciousness. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose if you're able to. Hold the breath gently and breathe out through the mouth. Let go. Breathe deeply in through the nose. Hold the breath gently and breathe out through the mouth into this present moment. Breathe deeply in through the nose. Hold the breath gently for a little bit longer this time. And breathe out through the mouth. Continue to breathe deeply at your own pace. Everything easy and natural. With every breath, feel a deep sense of peace arising from within. Relaxing the body with every breath. Let go of stress and tension. With every breath, the mind is slowing down, becoming clearer. With every breath, more and more calm. With every breath, now bring your energy from the tips of your toes right upward through every part of your body to the center of the forehead, deep inside. From the position where you think and experience everything. Continuing to breathe deeply. Feel that you, the living energy, are giving this body life. With every breath, feeling lighter, aware of the pleasant weight of the body, and at the same time, lightness of consciousness. Thoughts from the past come, it's okay, past is past. And thoughts are projecting into the future. No need to think about that at the moment. Just be here in this moment. Mundane thoughts, just let them go. Bring into the center of your consciousness this one phrase. I am the peaceful soul. Peace is the original true state of the self, the primordial state. Mind is slowing down, just staying with this one thought. I am the peaceful soul. Continuous consciousness, living energy. And now with one thought, one powerful thought, still connected to your body, project your consciousness far beyond, upward, outward. Visualize, feel, experience the realm of light. An unlimited region, golden reddish light, the home of the soul, of all souls. And you in essence form, you are floating in this realm of light. There's nothing physical here. You're totally peaceful, weightless, timeless, ageless. And there are billions of souls like you, living stars, microstars, all around, all connected in a wondrous constellation. And you are drawn gently yet powerfully to the brightest living star, the supreme, the divine, the living source of everything good, the benevolent one. And you are drawn into the aura of the Supreme Soul. There is a deep stillness, waves of spiritual love washing through you. So much light, golden divine light. There's a sacred golden thread between you as you begin a very gentle, smooth journey downward through layers of light. Still connected. Again, gradually moving back down into the physical dimension, making connection with your physical form again, bringing golden divine energy down through the top of your head, through your brain, through your features, through every organ of your body, through every cell. Your whole form is sparkling, and you are seated again, deep inside the center of the forehead, the command position of the body, ready to play your part again, bringing the stillness of that beautiful region of light, the deep peace and love of the Supreme into this realm. Om Shanti. Om. I am the spiritual being having this physical experience. Shanti. My original, natural, true state is peace. Om Shanti. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, David. That was wonderful to hear your journey from sound into silence. And initially, I was wondering how a drum, which is such a loud sound, can actually be integrated with silence. And I was thinking flute is one instrument. The sound of the flute that's very soothing, and that helps me with meditation. But also I think it's with all the artists in the dance music industry, where art or music leads them to connect with themselves and also to spirituality. And I really like the idea of where you talked about the internal stillness, what you experience in meditation, and then that is what reflects when you're performing. So that was beautiful and a deep thought that you shared with us, integrating sound and silence. And yes, for all the IT folks out there who are always multitasking, David shared a very beautiful statement about what a yogi is doing one thing at a time and do it very well. So even if you're coding or doing something, just do one thing at a time and you could be a yogi too. So thanks, David, for sharing.
Well, thank you, Nikki. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, I would like to thank our audience as well for joining us today. And we do have these sessions which are recorded and available on YouTube. So you're welcome to invite your friends and family to take benefit as well. Thank you for joining today. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.